A truck driver just entered a tunnel in Norway, drove through a mountain, and passed through what looked like an underground ice palace with blue lights that make you forget you're still on Earth. That is a real tunnel. It exists. Thousands of vehicles drive through it every single day, and it was designed that way on purpose, to keep drivers from losing their minds. But here's the thing. That Norwegian tunnel, as stunning as it sounds, had to earn the #1 spot on this list, because the competition includes a tunnel where landslides occur so frequently, they've just accepted it as routine. There's one where the temperature inside can cook you alive. One was carved by hand through solid rock over 2,000 years ago, and one requires you to drive through darkness so complete that drivers have reported hallucinating. 9 tunnels, 9 different answers to the question, how dangerous can a passage through a mountain actually be? Before we get into it, if you enjoy videos like this, hit the like button right now. These take a serious amount of research and time to put together, and every like pushes this to more people who would love it. Subscribe as well so you never miss what we cover next. Some of these tunnels will make you question why anyone would drive through them. Some will make you wonder how engineers even approved the idea. And by the time we reach #1, you will understand why one tunnel became so psychologically dangerous that an entire country had to redesign it just to keep people sane. Let's count down. Number 9. The Karakoram Highway Tunnels, Pakistan. The passages carved into avalanche zones. The Karakoram Highway is one of those roads that looks like someone drew a line on a map without considering whether humans could actually survive building it. Mountains that seem to touch the sky, valleys that drop into oblivion, and rock faces that shed boulders like they're shaking off dust. So when engineers spent decades carving tunnels through this landscape, they weren't trying to build something safe, they were trying to build something survivable. The tunnels along the Karakoram don't look intimidating from the outside. They look like dark mouths cut into the mountainside, narrow and unassuming. Then you drive inside, and within seconds, you realize the walls are weeping. Not metaphorically, literally weeping. Water seeps through cracks in the rock, pooling on the roadway, freezing in winter into sheets of black ice that you can't see until your tires are already sliding. The ceiling is uneven, jagged in places where the rock was blasted away, but never smoothed. In some sections, the clearance is so tight that trucks have to slow to a crawl and fold in their mirrors just to fit through. And outside, above the tunnel, avalanches occur so frequently that warning signs don't say if an avalanche happens, they say when. At altitudes reaching over 4,700 meters, the air inside is thin enough to make you lightheaded. Drivers report feeling dizzy, disoriented, struggling to focus on the road ahead. The Karakoram tunnels aren't just passages through rock, they're passages through conditions that test whether your vehicle, your nerves, and your oxygen supply can all hold out at the same time. But as harsh and unforgiving as these tunnels are, the next one trades ice and altitude for something far more suffocating. Number 8. The Tunnel of Fire, Qinling Mountains, China. The tunnel that becomes an oven. Zhang Wei had driven trucks for 15 years. He had been through mountain passes, desert highways, and snowstorms that buried entire roads. But the day he entered the Zhongnanshan Tunnel in the Qinling Mountains, he called his dispatcher halfway through and said he couldn't breathe. The Zhongnanshan Tunnel is 18 kilometers long, one of the longest road tunnels in the world. When you enter during summer, the temperature outside might be warm but manageable. Inside, it climbs. The deeper you go, the hotter it gets. Ventilation systems struggle to move enough air through a space that long and that enclosed. Exhaust fumes from thousands of vehicles every day collect in invisible layers, thickening the air until it feels like you're breathing through cloth. Drivers have reported temperatures inside reaching over 40 degrees Celsius in peak summer months. That's 104 degrees Fahrenheit. Not outside in the sun, inside a tunnel where there's no breeze, no escape, and no way to cool down, except to keep driving and hope the exit arrives before you pass out from heat exhaustion. The tunnel has no emergency lanes in many sections. If your vehicle breaks down, you stop in your lane. Traffic backs up behind you, engines idling, adding more heat to an already suffocating space. Rescue crews have to navigate through the backup, and by the time they arrive, drivers have already been sitting in what feels like a slow-cooking oven for 20, 30, sometimes 40 minutes. The kind of heat that makes a simple mechanical failure feel life-threatening. That's the Zhongnanshan Tunnel, and it would be the most physically punishing entry on this list if it weren't for the one that follows it. Number 7. The Atal Tunnel, India. The highest highway tunnel on Earth. In 2020, India opened a tunnel that sits 3,000 meters above sea level, cutting through the Himalayas and connecting the Kulu Valley to the Lahaul Spiti Valley. The Atal Tunnel is 9.02 kilometers long, and at that altitude, the air pressure inside is so low that your body starts compensating the moment you enter. Drivers unfamiliar with high-altitude conditions report headaches within minutes. Dizziness, nausea, the kind of symptoms that make you question whether you should pull over, except there's nowhere to pull over that feels safe. The tunnel is narrow, and traffic moves in both directions, separated only by painted lines and faith. The feature that genuinely makes this tunnel dangerous isn't just the altitude, it's the weather outside. The Atal Tunnel was built specifically to provide year-round access to a region that used to be completely cut off during winter. That means the tunnel stays open even when the mountain passes above it are buried under avalanches and snowstorms that would kill anyone caught outside. When you exit the tunnel during winter, you step from a controlled, enclosed space into conditions so extreme that temperatures can drop to -20 degrees Celsius in minutes. Your body doesn't have time to adjust. The cold hits you like a physical force, and if your vehicle isn't prepared, if your fuel starts to gel, if your battery dies, if your tires lose grip on ice, you're stranded at 3,000 meters in sub-zero temperatures with help potentially hours away. The Atal Tunnel is a marvel of engineering. It's also a test of whether your body and your vehicle can handle one of the harshest transitions from indoors to outdoors anywhere on the planet. From altitude, we shift to a tunnel where the danger isn't the environment, it's the road itself. Number 6. The Guoliang Tunnel, China. The tunnel carved by hand through a mountain. There's a very specific kind of fear that comes from looking out your car window and realizing there's no guardrail between you and a 200-meter drop. The Guoliang Tunnel in China's Taihang Mountains delivers that fear for 1.2 kilometers straight. In the 1970s, the villagers of Guoliang were completely isolated. The only way in or out was a narrow footpath carved into the cliffside called the Sky Ladder. It was so dangerous that falling to your death wasn't a risk, it was routine. So 13 villagers, with no engineering training and almost no equipment, decided to carve a tunnel through the mountain by hand. It took them 5 years. They used hammers and chisels. They sold their livestock and their belongings to buy explosives. They worked in shifts, day and night, until they had carved a passage wide enough for a single vehicle to squeeze through. Today, the Guoliang Tunnel is barely 4 meters wide in most sections. There are 30 windows cut into the outer wall, rough rectangular holes where the villagers blasted through to let in light and remove debris. Those windows are now the only thing between your vehicle and a sheer drop into the valley below. There are no guardrails. The road surface is uneven. The ceiling is so low that taller vehicles scrape against rock, and when two cars meet coming from opposite directions, one has to reverse, sometimes for hundreds of meters, until they find a section wide enough to pass. The tunnel wasn't designed by engineers, it was designed by desperation, and it shows. From a hand-carved passage, we move to one where the danger is above you, waiting to fall. Number 5. The Skipper's Canyon Tunnel, New Zealand. The tunnel rental companies won't let you drive through. When you rent a car in Queenstown, New Zealand, the contract includes a list of roads you're not allowed to take the vehicle on. At the top of that list is Skipper's Canyon Road. And the reason is simple. Insurance companies have decided that the road is so dangerous, they will not cover any damage, injury, or loss that occurs there. The tunnel itself is short, barely 100 meters long, but it's carved into a cliffside so narrow that the road leading to it is only wide enough for one vehicle. There are no passing zones, no turnouts, and no room for error. The cliff drops 100 meters straight down, and there are no barriers. The tunnel was hand-carved in the 1860s during the Central Otago Gold Rush. Miners blasted through rock with black powder, working from both ends until they met in the middle. The alignment is approximate. The walls are jagged, the ceiling is uneven, and the road surface is gravel that shifts and erodes with every rainstorm. Drivers who make it through the tunnel say the approach is worse than the passage itself. You're driving along a shelf of road so narrow that your passenger side mirror hangs over empty air. One miscalculation, one moment of distraction, and your vehicle doesn't crash, it falls. Skipper's Canyon is the only tunnel on this list where rental companies looked at the statistics and said, "We're not even going to pretend this is insurable." From a tunnel insurance won't cover, we move to one where the danger isn't a fall, it's a flood. Number 4. The Fenghuashan Tunnel, Tibet. The tunnel built on permafrost. There's a type of ground called permafrost, soil that stays frozen year-round, sometimes for thousands of years. It's stable as long as it stays frozen, but the moment it starts to thaw, the ground turns into mud, and anything built on top of it begins to sink. The Fenghuashan Tunnel in Tibet is built entirely on permafrost. It sits at 4,905 meters above sea level, making it one of the highest tunnels in the world. And every single day, the engineers who designed it worry about the same thing: heat. When vehicles drive through the tunnel, their engines generate heat. That heat radiates into the surrounding rock. If the rock warms up even slightly, the permafrost beneath the tunnel begins to thaw. If the permafrost thaws, the tunnel starts to collapse. To prevent this, the entire tunnel is equipped with cooling systems, ventilation shafts that pull cold air from outside, insulation that blocks engine heat, and monitoring stations that measure ground temperature 24 hours a day. If the temperature rises too high, the tunnel is closed until conditions stabilize. Drivers entering the Fenghuashan Tunnel are entering a passage where the ground beneath them is in a constant battle between freezing and thawing. The tunnel is safe, but only because of systems that run continuously, invisibly, to keep the mountain from swallowing the road whole. From a tunnel fighting to stay frozen, we move to one where the danger is psychological. Number 3. The Lærdal Tunnel, Norway. The tunnel so long it drives you insane. In 2000, Norway opened the Lærdal Tunnel, 24.5 kilometers long, making it the longest road tunnel in the world. And within the first few months, drivers started reporting something strange. They were seeing things that weren't there, losing track of time, forgetting where they were. When you drive through a tunnel that long, your brain starts to struggle. There are no landmarks, no changes in scenery, no reference points to tell you how far you've gone or how much farther you have to go. The white and yellow lights blur together. The hum of the engine becomes the only sound. And after 10, 15, 20 minutes of driving through the same unchanging space, your brain begins to disengage. Psychologists call it highway hypnosis. Your eyes stay open, your hands stay on the wheel, but your conscious mind starts to drift. Drivers reported arriving at the other end of the tunnel with no memory of the middle section. Others said they had to pull over because they felt disoriented, anxious, unsure if they were still moving forward or if they'd somehow started going in circles. Norway's solution was radical. Every 6 kilometers, they built a mountain hall, a massive cavern with blue and yellow lighting designed to mimic a sunrise. The walls are illuminated, the ceiling is high, and for a few hundred meters, your brain gets a break. You see something different, your senses reset, and then you drive back into the tunnel, hopefully alert enough to make it to the next hall. The Lærdal Tunnel isn't dangerous because of rockfalls or floods. It's dangerous because of what 24.5 kilometers of sameness does to the human mind. From a tunnel that messes with your head, we move to one where the danger is written in the history books. Number 2. The Terrakhol Tunnel, India. The tunnel that collapses and gets rebuilt. There are tunnels that fail once and get reinforced. The tunnels along the roads near Terrakhol and similar regions in India's Western Ghats have a different relationship with failure. They collapse, they get cleared, they get reinforced, and then they collapse again. The Western Ghats are a mountain range that receives some of the heaviest rainfall in India. During monsoon season, water doesn't just fall, it pours in sheets that turn roads into rivers and hillsides into mudslides. The tunnels carved into these mountains are constantly soaked. Water seeps through cracks, erodes the rock, and weakens the structure from the inside. In 2019, a section of tunnel near Goa collapsed without warning, burying the roadway under tons of rock. No one was killed, but only because it happened at 3 a.m. when traffic was light. Engineers cleared the debris, reinforced the walls, and reopened the tunnel. 2 monsoon seasons later, a different section collapsed. This isn't a tunnel that failed once. It's a tunnel that exists in a landscape that is actively trying to reclaim it. And every time it collapses, engineers face the same question. Do we rebuild it stronger, or do we accept that some mountains don't want roads carved through them? From a tunnel that keeps failing, we move to the one that redefined what danger in a tunnel actually means. Number 1. The Gotthard Base Tunnel, Switzerland. The tunnel that goes too deep. The Gotthard Base Tunnel is 57 kilometers long. It is the longest railway tunnel in the world. It runs 2,300 meters below the surface of the Swiss Alps, and it took 17 years to build, because the conditions inside were so extreme that workers could only operate in short shifts before their bodies started to break down. At that depth, the temperature inside the mountain reaches 40 degrees Celsius naturally, before any machinery or human activity adds to it. The air pressure is crushing. The rock is under so much stress that it fractures spontaneously, sending chunks of stone flying across the workspace without warning. During construction, workers wore cooling suits just to survive their shifts. Ventilation systems ran constantly to prevent heat stroke, and despite every precaution, 9 workers died during the 17 years it took to complete the tunnel. But the real danger of the Gotthard Base Tunnel isn't during construction, it's what happens if something goes wrong while it's in use. A fire, a derailment, a structural failure at that depth, in a space that long, would create a disaster scenario unlike anything the world has seen. Emergency exits are spaced every 325 meters, but reaching them in smoke-filled darkness while a fire rages through a confined space 2,300 meters underground is a different kind of terror. Rescue teams would have to enter from one end and travel dozens of kilometers to reach anyone trapped inside. The Gotthard Base Tunnel is a triumph of engineering. It's also a reminder that some tunnels don't just pass through mountains. They pass through conditions that were never meant to hold human life. 9 tunnels. A rotating ice palace in Norway, built to keep drivers sane. A hand-carved passage in China, where falling to your death was just part of the job. A tunnel in Tibet, built on ground that could swallow it whole if it thaws. A Swiss megatunnel that goes so deep into the earth that the mountain itself fights back. And at the top, a 24.5-kilometer passage where the greatest danger isn't the rock, it's your own mind losing track of reality. If you enjoyed this, hit the like button and subscribe so you're here for the next one. Now, I want to hear from you. If you had to drive through any one of these 9 tunnels right now, which one are you taking and why? Drop your answer in the comments below. I read every single one.